Good day, everyone. My name is Peter Olubayo. I currently teach IELTS reading for Unified Nurses. This is a group that connects nurses to greatness. Today, I'm going to teach you on how to understand IELTS reading passages quickly and save your time. Yes, you heard me correctly. You can understand IELTS reading passages quickly and save your time. You might have heard a lot of tutors saying that you don't have to read as much to get a firmer grasp of the author's fundamental ideas in IELTS. This is because if you have to read through every bit in that passage, I assure you that you cannot finish within the 1 hour allotted time. The top secret which I'm going to propose to you is that if you can find and understand every paragraph's topic sentence, you would understand the whole passage. So this is what I mean. If there are 5 paragraphs in that passage, all you need to understand is 5 topic sentences, and you would have known what the whole passage is all about. The question then is, how do you identify the topic sentence confidently? Just to let you know, if you have not read so much about topic sentences initially, they are used in the most dreaded IELTS question types, such as list of headings, matching paragraph with possible topic sentences, true, false, not given, yes, no, not given. Even much more than that, every candidate that wants to score more than band 7 in IELTS reading must be ready to know how to quickly skim through the passage. And skimming is just the art of you having a quick glance and understanding of the whole passage while paying attention to key points like common nouns or names, dates, things that will not change, so that you can also identify your questions, whatsoever answers you need very quickly. So let me define topic sentence for you. It is essentially the central message in a paragraph. Okay? This is the main point in a paragraph. It shows the relationship of each paragraph to the main thesis. Okay? And importantly, sentences argue rather than report. Reporting, which include most of the time words or phrases like for example, for instance, will lead you to the supporting ideas rather than the topic sentence itself. There are 4 major ways by which writers express their opinion in each paragraph. The first one is complex sentences. Second are inquiries. Third one is bridge. And the fourth is moving on to complex sentences. This is the most commonly used in IELTS and it combines a subordinate and independent clause. And usually find at the beginning. Because this is the most commonly used, that is why most topic sentences in IELTS are found first or second statement in the paragraph or the last sentence in the paragraph. The second one are questions. These are forms of inquiry and they demand an answer. They are used rarely, but you need to know so that when you see them, you can confidently. I'm going to give you an example of a question topic sentence. Now, This is, we are to find the topic sentence, the heading for paragraph A. We are to find the topic sentence for paragraph A. Alan McFarlane, professor of anthropological science at King's College, Cambridge, has, like other historians, spent decades wrestling with the enigma of the Industrial Revolution. Why did this particular Big Bang, the world-changing birth of industry, happen in Britain? And why did it strike at the end of the 18th century? You agree with me that paragraph A is talking about the history of whatsoever we're talking about, which is tea and industrial revolution. Okay? And how did it talk about, okay, industrial revolution? How did it talk about it? Presented its topic sentence. Why did this particular so happen in Britain? And why did it strike at the end of the 18th century? That is the major thing. So this paragraph is talking about the history of industrial revolution, where it happened and when. Okay, so looking at the list of headings, the search for the reasons, so there was nothing like reason for increase and there is nothing like increase in population there. They mention industrialization, nothing like fear of employment. The development of cities in Japan, no. The time and place of industrial revolution, which could be history. So I'll hold on to this. But because, let's read on the other headings given. The cases of Holland, France, and China, no. Changes in drinking habits in Britain, no. Two keys to Britain industrial revolution, no. Condition required for industrialization, no. Comparison with Japan, no. So this leaves us with Roman numeral 4 as the answer, the time, the place of industrial revolution. But the writer have used a question form. Why did this particular Big Bang, the world-changing birth of industry, happen in Britain? Okay. The third form of topic sentences are bridge sentences. It's just like the question type. It indicates what came before. So in essence, they bridge paragraphs. All right. I'm going to move on to talk about the last but not the least, which are pivots. Don't forget we said that more than 80% of time, higher topic sentences are the first, second, or last sentence in a paragraph. However, when a writer employs the use of pivot, it pushes the other than what we usually know. Okay, and it indicates that the paragraph is going to change direction and always need words like but, yet, however. All right, this strategy is particularly useful for dealing with counter evidence. So a paragraph starts by probably agreeing to a statement on the one hand and comes back and say, however, so. So whatsoever comes before that signal, signaling word, which are yet, however, but, and the likes, is not the major point you want to bring out in that paragraph. Okay? We need to look out for that. Let's quickly look at an example. Psychologist Sharon Heimer uses this term, on narcissistic friendship, to describe the early stage of a friendship like so it will state, for example, so, and then came about mentioning yet. This narcissistic stage of Sally and Shog's relationship is merely a transitory one. Hyma herself concedes. So what this paragraph is talking about is that the early stage is merely a transitory one. The early stage of friendship is a transitory one. Okay, whatsoever has happened before this yet are not the major thing. So this is what you have to, from here down here, that's where the topic sentence is. Okay, of course. I'm sure you can mention the forms of topic sentences. That includes number one, complex sentences, questions or inquiries. Number three, this might not have answered your question, but we are driving towards something. Don't forget I said you can understand every IELTS passage if you know everything, if you can identify very quickly and confidently what the topic sentence, what the main idea in the paragraph or passages are. This is an exercise for us. Also a list of heading. Paragraph B, we are to give paragraph B a heading. So McFarlane, let me look for my pointer. McFarlane compares the puzzle to a combination lock. There are 20 different factors and all of them need to be present before revolution can happen. So there are 20 factors, different factors, which need to be present before revolution can happen. So before industrialization or revolution can happen, you need some factors. These are like conditions you need to have met before revolution happen, he says. So moving on to the second statement, for industry to take off, this is still talking about revolution to happen. There needs to be. So he's starting to mention those factors one by one. So I would not pay attention to that for now because all that matters to me in list of heading is a topic sentence. Okay, so everything he has said until this point, the last sentence are just for example, for instance, blah, blah, blah. And the last one says, most historians are convinced that there are one or two missing factors that you need to open the lock. So I can say that this whole paragraph is talking about the condition you need to have on ground to make revolution happen. Okay, let's look at the list of headings given to us. The search for the reasons for an increase, no, nothing like reason was given. Fear of employment, nothing like that. Development of cities, Japan, nothing like. They mentioned Japan, but that's not the main idea. The time I place, we have used this, so I'm going to cross it out. We are not using it again. Cases of Holland, France, China. They mentioned all these countries, but these are just supporting ideas, just the examples, okay? That's not the main one. Changes in drinking habits in Britain, two keys to Britain's industrial revolution. So they mentioned two missing factors that you need to open, which was present in Britain, okay? Because we know it was Britain that everything started, okay? And this one says condition required for industrialization. So this looks more like it, okay? Comparisons with Japan lead to the answer no. Absolutely no. So the answer is the condition. How do we come about this? I gave this assignment out to my students, and there are few people who chose this one. Okay. Apparently, this last statement have has confused them in choosing that. So in the next slide, I'm going to share with you two things that you must watch out for when you are identifying your topic sentence. The two things you must watch out for are signposts. let's start with signpost. So as their name suggests, they prepare, they point the direction of the argument and prepare the reader for where the okay? Now let me show you why some students in this paragraph B that we considered earlier on, why they went ahead and chose two factors that made Britain. This statement at the end of paragraph B is a signpost. How do I know? Do you know that this passage was all about tea and revolution? Paragraph A talked about the history of revolution, the time and place it started from. B talked about some different factors you need to know, have in place for revolution to happen. Now, C was going to introduce tea, okay, and beer. To do that, paragraph B, the last statement in paragraph B, started directing us, the reader, to what is coming next. And perhaps it has nothing to do with paragraph B, obviously. So if you look at this, it says most historians are convinced there are one or two missing factors that you need to open the log. It's telling us that this argument is going to change. And in paragraph C, he started talking about the missing factor he proposes are to be found in almost every kitchen. That is tea and beer. All right. Those are the two missing factors. Okay. So some other countries met other things, but probably they didn't have tea and beer. So that is what the writer wanted to talk about. So look at the end of B and look at the beginning of C. The last statement here has nothing to do with paragraph B. It's just a signpost. So you want to watch out for signposts and don't think they are the main topic sentence or main idea of the paragraph. I'm sure you've gotten that. Look out for them. Another thing you must look out for are supporting ideas. Because a paragraph might present to, in the reader's mind, might seem to have like more than one idea. So which one is now the topic sentence? And high health is going to list that same supporting idea in the list of headings because they know you are likely going to make that mistake. So it's like a pit being dug for candidates, but you have to be smarter than that. So how do you rule out subtopics or supporting ideas and you don't conclude they are the main idea? So once you are thinking that there is more than one and you don't know what to choose, think of it like a big circle and smaller one. It can, if more than two, then you can think about even another circle in there. But look at it like a smaller circle and a big circle. Okay? Anything you can use to explain the other one is probably the, ask yourself which one of the two can be used to explain the other further. So it answers questions like, why did it happen? Okay? Why did what you are thinking about, that you are thinking is the topic sentence happen? Why? How? When? Okay? Supporting ideas in all instances answer that question. They explain the topic sentence further. So think about which one of these two you have in hand. Which one of them can be used to explain the other one better? So this inner one is a subset. This green is a subset of this and can be used to explain this. Okay? I'm sure you understand. All right, let's look at an example. Let's look at an example very quickly. Okay, this is also a passage taken from Cambridge IELTS. In paragraph D, it says, theme parks are undergoing changes too, as they try to present more serious social and cultural issues and move away from fantasy. So that is my first statement there. This development is a response. So now listen. So theme parks are undergoing changes. So theme parks are undergoing changes as it try to present more serious social cultural. So this place is talking about changes happening to theme parks. Now, anytime you see this pointer to signaling, it says this development that we are talking about here, this change, okay, this change is a response to market forces, okay, very essential. And although museums and heritage sites have a special role, blah, 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 they are also operating in a very competitive environment. So there is a change that happened because of a response, because of market forces, something like competition, and then because they're operating in a competitive environment, okay, and all the stories followed, okay. So let's look at the last one. Those who are professionally engaged in the art of interpreting history are thus in a difficult position, as they must steer a narrow course between the demands of evidence, attractiveness, blah, 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 especially given the increasing need in the heritage industry for income generating activities. What do you think the topic sentence is? Is it the changes that is happening or the fact that there is competition now in the market? Okay, so let's look at the list of headings that we have. Commercial pressures, so that's like competition on people in charge. Did the passage talk about people in charge? It says those who are professionally engaged in the art of interpreting history. Okay, so there is pressure on them, so that's good. Mixed views, mixed views. So are there views or mixed, and are there current changes mentioned in the passage? Though they mentioned changes, okay, or was there mixed views? And if there is even changes, we are also seeing this there, okay? Interpreting the fact to meet visitors' expectation, international dimension, collection of actual evidence, fewer differences between current reviews and suggestions. Not really. So we are left between these two, okay? But then you and I know that the changes was as a result of, was a response to this thing, okay? So Roman numeral 2, which is changes, can be used to explain this. However, this is even wrong because there was nothing like mixed views in the passage. But you'll be surprised that students thought that it was this Roman numeral 2. Okay? Or you agree with me that is not. So in summary, I've defined the topic sentence, main idea in a paragraph. Remember again, in English language, a paragraph represents an idea, okay? Or a passage in English language is a collection of which contribute to the main thesis. Whatsoever the person wants to talk about is the main thesis, okay? So paragraph A is an idea, B is an idea, C is an idea to support the whole thing. Meanwhile, also in that paragraph A, which is the main idea, in that main idea, there are supporting ideas to prove the point further. Okay, so if you can simply know the topic sentence, which is the main idea in each paragraph, then you would have known what the passage is talking about. Okay, and that will help you once you see a question, you know where it is likely, the answer is likely going to be. All right, so we have defined it. We've talked about the form so that you know Now you should know that the forms include complex sentences, questions, bridges, and pivots. And remember, when pivots are used, it pushes the topic sentence into the middle. Okay, remember that. And lastly, there are two things which I consider the most important message of this lecture. You must watch out for signposts and subtopics. Very, very essential. All right. I'm sure you appreciate this teaching for today. Thank you for listening. For more tutorials, please subscribe to this channel. All right. We also have tutorials. We have people taking writing, we have people taking listening, people that have skills to that's called band 9 in their various modules. Okay, so you can contact me on. Thank you for listening. God bless you. See you later, and all the best in your exams. Thank you. Bye bye.